So in this video, I'm going to be talking about a lecture that I listened to by Swami Taiganananda, Taiganananda at the Ramakrishna Vedanta Society in Boston. I was unable to attend a service due to some traffic circumstances, but I was able to listen to the Easter service, which was kind of cool. So in lieu of actually attending the service, I did a little research on the website, and I read that it is possible to perceive Vedanta as a spiritual tradition that simultaneously respects and transcends all traditions, which is an interesting quote, which very much so ties into the lecture that I did listen to. And so preconceptions I had before this, listening to this, was that it would be not accepting of all religions and it would be just Hindu. But that wasn't really the case. So the lecture started off with some music, some traditional music, and it moved into the question of what Easter has for us in our own personal reflections on the holiday, basically. So in this, he starts off by talking about the Marys and the empty grave and Jesus, and actually quoting scripture, which I thought was really interesting. I wasn't actually expecting that. He also quoted some E. Cummings, which I appreciate as an English major. But the story of Easter, he was saying, deepens our faith, and it has deepened the faith of generations of worshipers because of Jesus's experience of overcoming and conquering death, and that was his unique experience. Basically, he was saying that we can view Jesus alongside other luminaries such as Moses, Muhammad, and Buddha, because they all have those unique experiences. Basically, he was saying that crucifixion itself was surprising, but perhaps it shouldn't be considering the world we live in, which is so messed up today. He kind of brought in some social justice and started talking about how we are all immigrants, spiritually speaking, and how we should be welcoming to all traditions. And basically, this lecture was saying that we need to zoom out from our own specific tradition to learn more about the cultures around us and to learn about who we are as individuals. So he went on to talk about Jesus quite a bit, and then he brought in a Rama who Hindus worship, or the Great Prince, very briefly, probably assuming that the congregation knew more about this figure. And basically, it was interesting for me to look at the Easter experience from this tradition and talking about Jesus in this manner. So, like, after he got into the point of the main point of this lecture, what dies in the world so we can begin living in God, and that's basically I, or the ego. And he says that the I gets attached to perishable things, like I work at this job, or I own this jacket, or I have blonde hair. Maybe someday it'll be gray, who knows? But that's beside the point. He's saying how the I needs to be attached to something divine, and this is how we see the tradition come into play. And he starts talking about the Atman, and how we are to become immortal and blissful. And he says that Jesus shows us that this is possible because we follow Jesus from death to immortality. So basically, it means selling everything we have, like Jesus said to the rich young ruler. And he said that this even includes the sense of self and the sense of I. So basically, he ended up at the end of the lecture, emphasizing the point that the love, spirit, and wonder of all traditions are basically the same, and it's all a quest for some form of spiritual life, and basically a quest for immortality and for that divine life. So I really appreciated this visit, so to speak, and I learned quite a bit about other traditions and how appreciative we should be of other traditions and how that can help illuminate the world around us for ourselves to learn.